next. The panel hates their draft. Do you agree?
You are not paying attention at all.
No, Misery said some nice things at the tail end, but for the most part, it was a bit negative.
I mean, okay, let's be honest. I think the last game was on paper harder for Nigma Galaxy than this one is. I still overall favor Aurora, but there's definitely more achievable ways for victory here, the way I see it. I think this is a game where Morphling can truly carry, potentially. It's a game where Sumail is in a position on a hero that he can snowball the game on. I don't think Kunkka is that hero. I think Leshrac can take over games, especially together with Elder Titan for the Amp. And overall, I think their lanes are going to be fine. My big question is, how are they planning to kill Nightfall's Medusa when it has Stampede backing it up? That's my biggest question mark here for the side of Galaxy.
Yep, I would agree with that, Cinderin.
Nope. Could get slept here.
He will get slept
here.
He will be slept-walked.
Could get shackled here.
He is dead.
They skilled Ether Shock. They don't need shackle.
Panto will take it. On the other side, Sumail gets the kill on Kiyotaka, not in time for the first blood, but still nice for Sumail, which talked about, you know, later in the game, not the greatest matchup against the Medusa, but yeah, what could you possibly itemize? Like, the first thing we think of course, is Diffusal, but like Windrunner is not a core here.
I think she should maybe still buy it, though.
You think so? Okay.
It's either that or you go the full, we're going to kite Medusa route, and then you buy stuff like Shard, Yules, and your job in the fight is literally just make heroes unable to stick on Lesh.
Yeah.
When they want to play aggressively. And I think this is a game where there's something to be said for Gale Force, potentially. I think it's a very good item against Medusa to have that Shard. But if I would like to personally see if Yamish is doing well, I think he should buy the Diffuser, actually. I think it's worth it. So, we'll see. Bottom lane on paper is not that easy, though. Double ranged, Medusa Bane. Yeah. Tough task.
Feels bad clicking a hero and their health just doesn't move. Very demoralizing.
Yeah. If you didn't know what was going on, and it would be.
And we'll see how fat Nightfall can get this game on the Medusa. Definitely a hero that can... I mean, it's not really a hero that buys BKB, Cinderin.
No.
All too often.
He's not going to.
It doesn't really fit into the Nightfall repertoire. It's Mira.
That's right. He's going to Stone Gaze TP out this game.
Yeah, that's a new variation, I suppose. And GH not going to catch up, but still packing a punch onto Mira. Use those chicken fingers. Still, I think, one of the best facets or innates in the game, Cinderin.
Specifically because you like chicken fingers.
No, it's just really good.
Oh. Yeah, so are chicken fingers.
I mean, that's true. That's true. They are.
Speaking of GH, would you agree that this has been his most impactful hero as of late? I think his Elder Titan has been...
Well, I actually wanted to... We can piggyback off of that as well. Do you like him? I mean, he's playing 5, right? Traditionally, back in the day, he was the 4. He was the best 4 in the world for a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you miss that aspect for him?
I think this patch, the way it works, I think the type of impact he had back then is achievable in position 5 in this patch. So I don't really mind.
You do get a lot more farm.
Yeah, and if you play heroes like ET and Phoenix, which are some of his best, you can do a lot as a 5 IO. You can do a lot with, in some cases, I think you can play Caudal 5, but we haven't really seen that too much. I think that is probably the least viable of his traditional repertoire. Yeah, overall, I mean, it's obviously a little bit of a different dynamic now that you have a stand-in on position 4, right? Like, they had the potential of grabbing themselves a 5 stand-in if they wanted to, and then put GH on the 4 roll. They opted not to do that.
Yeah.
Probably to keep the Ghost lane intact. And their overall assessment was it's more viable that we have our stable safe lane that we are very comfortable with rather than restructuring both lanes.
Well, Mira might be in some trouble, although Ghost, very little HP to really connect, and Toronto-Tokyo has basically been going back and forth on the harass battles, but supports, you could say the same.
Yeah, interesting to see Toronto-Tokyo starting build here, the triple gauntlet. I can't say mathematically that I love that against Morph. I think it has to be better to buy at least one, maybe two circlets, just because your hero has terrible base armor, and Morph hits really hard. So just getting a little bit of agility actually goes a long way. Just get one more armor helps quite a lot. By the way, it's got the Ring of Health now. It's probably going to be fine. Oh, they get the Shackle outside of the shift.
Yep,
He's
the hoof
dead.
stomp to follow. Wow. Mira gets the kill.
Not supposed to happen.
That is pretty crazy. Noob and Yamich in the meantime getting harassed heavily, but they will barely survive. Yeah, I just assumed this would be effectively a dead lane in terms of nobody's going to be dying, at least not on the NGX side, especially the Morph.
Yeah, the only moment of opportunity you have is until GH gets Echo Stomp, which will probably kick in at level 4. So this was when the kill was obtainable. Once that's there, you can never retain your shackles, and you can always just stomp the Centaur too. So just finding this one kill is really good for Aurora. This is not a lane that I would say on paper they're meant to win. They could probably draw it. These are not bad Morphling matchups in lane. Find the quick one, though. Sumail up to level 6. Against
Toronto Tokyo getting dove, but GH not going to go any further. Vanguard almost done for Toronto. Meanwhile, Sumail in that mid lane, sitting on 30-5 versus the 33-3 on the Storm. So pretty close. Not too big of a surprise.
Power shot connection there from Yamich.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dive here for Sumail.
Mira with the 2 points in Hex.
Interesting.
Quite a lot of time to create distance there with the 1-2-1 build. We'll get away. Oh, this is... Yeah, Noob has the perfect creep for this lane, by the way. It's actually pretty important in the bottom lane that Noob managed to find the Satyr Soul Stealer. Mana Burn does so much damage to Medusa. It's got to be the best hero in the game to have this against, basically.
Yeah, Sumail gonna get some help with Yamich to be able to take out Panto. As he did take out the regeneration rune, so denying that from the NGX side.
That would have been nice for Sumail. A little bit starved on resources right now.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Lesh in general right now?
I don't think it's the best. And just as a general pick, I don't think it's particularly strong right now, but if you have very good matchups, I like it. There's just nothing in this game that made me think, hell yeah, this is a Lesh game.
Yeah.
So that's curious for me. But sometimes player comfort and just what you feel can make a really big difference.
I feel like we saw a fair bit of it about, I would say, a month ago when we were casting, and I did not notice the other facet ever getting chosen.
No, it's always Misanthropy.
It's basically not a push hero anymore, at least not for the tower department.
No, not really. What else would you push?
They're gonna... My buttons as
yes.
NGX will push their buttons and get the Smoke of Deceit into Toronto Tokyo, level 5, so no Stampede to work with, although...
I don't get him yet.
Well, he's gonna connect with this wave and will be spotted as a result. Still, this is a pretty tanky boy.
Lesh can solo him 100-0 if he doesn't hit the stomp.
Oh, stops for a little casual right click, and that's where Sumail's Diabolic Edict can really go to town. That's going to be an easy cleanup for Sumail and company. Meanwhile, bottom lane, actually getting the mana a bit low onto Nightfall. He's going to take an Infernal Blade for his troubles, but Mira has come to play with the Hex, and Panto, coming from the east, should secure this kill onto Noob. And Nightfall dodging the power shot.
Don't you just love when the carry buys 2 nulls?
Yeah, that's good.
What a time to live in.
The Ataka's gonna have to zip away the amp damage rune. Oh my god, I actually said that. Damn.
Good job.
I told myself I would never say that, and I did it.
You got there.
The damage rune. Stolen by GH.
Next on the docket is you calling the hero Abaddon. Then we're...
What about Windrunner?
Yeah, okay. Wind Ranger. If you get all of those right in one day, I would honestly be impressed.
Okay.
Considering that you think the right thing is wrong, that's probably not going to happen.
Well, I didn't say it's right. Gorgon's Grasp onto Yamich. We'll be able to walk away. Panto, nothing left in the tank, so just getting a couple of right clicks.
Mira does arrive with this very early level 6 here. As the Serpent wards, they could go for a ward block, and I think they just might.
Yeah, nope. He's going to get caught out. Oh,
Good
the shackle
shackle.
preventing the
Very
initiation
nice.
from Mira from continuing. And now we have TP from Sumail. Remember, Nightfall? A bit low on mana. Only 5 stacks on his wand. He'll be exiting, though, in the cover of the Tier 1. And they actually get a D-ward as well.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So the rotation here unsuccessful for Sumail for now.
Are scanning.
He might just choose to dive this.
It's possible. Noob, you're going to take the wave with him.
I think this is when Leshrac shines the most, is the bottom Tier 1 tower for Radiant. It's like you literally just run into these trees and body people. But you need to have the confidence with some sort of information that you can get away with it. And of course, the Stampede can be problematic.
They find the Nightmare, though. Noob in a lot of trouble. TP's coming for him, or coming for help, but he is stuck inside a bunch of Serpent wards, and the Echo Stomp not going to really assist too much. So easy kill for Mira and company. How much do you, when you pick a Medusa, this was first pick Medusa, how much do you care, just in theory, if the enemy takes a Bane? Because you chose it for your side. Fiend's Grip drains mana. Theoretically good. Is it actually good in practice, though?
It's all right.
So it's not really something you think about.
It's one of the better ones, but
Just want to see, like, how much of a deny pick was this potentially, you know?
I mean, it could have been part of it, but at the same time, Nigma Galaxy had already picked ET, I think, and I don't know if they would play Yamich on 4 Bane. I guess he could have played 4 ET as well. It's not out of the question.
Yeah, Noob. You know, he's got his Doom available, but he gets Nightmared. Man, just can't find a clean initiation. So we'll have to exit again without using that ulti. Sumail with that haste rune. We'll see how much damage he can do with it.
Yeah, that's good. This negates the Stampede for the next play. So potentially, Nigma Galaxy. I think this is a really good time to look for a play bottom. I'm actually forcing the Edict out of him here.
Not too far away from Atos for Sumail.
Radiant structures are fortified.
His farm is okay. Basically a wash in the mid lane. I mean, how good of a start does he have to get off to this game, do you feel like? Like, how much pressure is on Sumail to keep things afloat?
I think quite a lot. Let's see if this even breaks out into a fight. I think you might just concede this tower as Aurora and not, yeah. I think it's a great play call there. And anticipating Sumail's rotation with the haste runes, just going to give it up. I think it's really important that Sumail is popping off this game. I think if he has a bad game, I think it's really tough for Doom and Morph to win this game without a strong Lesh. He's getting all the power runs, though. That's good news. So it definitely is important, but a couple of his rotations didn't bear fruit, and he has lost some CS because of it. It's good enough.
Is this normal? Boots of travel? Storm?
No.
What the hell is that?
I'm gonna go ahead and say no. That is not normal.
That, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
What? Why? What?
Well, we'll see soon enough.
Wait, have I missed some meta development here?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe we both have.
Is he playing Divine Courage?
Blade Mail on Centaurs. The fight's going to break out here. Sumail with the Atos reveal, Diabolic Edict, but the Nightmare to counteract this. Now Stampede, as Panto will be stuck in no man's land, taken out by Noob.
Dude, why does he have traps on Storm? Am I stupid?
Well,
is he stupid?
That's a separate question.
Okay, one at a time. You can start with, am I stupid?
No, as much as I hate to admit.
Oh, wow, that's...
The Observer thinks so, though, so that's good.
I can't believe you said that. All right, I'm curious. This would be my number 1 question to ask if they were to win in a post-game interview. Hey, Kiyotaka, why did you start Travels in this game on Storm?
Yep. Extra mobility 14-minute wisdom's about to come.
The thing is, you'd think this is actually a farming loss on this hero, right? Because most heroes that buy Boots of Travel use it for two things. First of all, to traverse the map faster and farm, and the other thing is to connect to plays. But Storm farms more with Mana Regen than with move speed.
Yep.
So it's just peculiar overall. He seems to be going for pretty standard follow-up items here with the Kaya into BKB. Perhaps there's something to be said about the overall archetypical way that Aurora are looking to play the game. The panel was talking about this, like Bane hiding at nighttime, trying to catch people off to the sides. You've got Centaur with Stampede. Maybe the overall idea is we want to skirmish you, and we want to be able to catch you all over the map and have constant threat. Of course, travels are good for that, but he has nothing obvious to travel on. There's no like summons hero or something that can enable it. The next level play here would be Toronto Tokyo buying Helm of the Dominator. Then I'm on board.
Kiyotaka spending most of his mana to catch up to GH. Will get the kill as Noob comes in with the help of Yamich, but the Stampede try to get away, but the Focus Fire looks to be too much. And that's going to be a 1-for-1, but the Fiend's Grip from the other side. And that is a dead Doom. Still, I think, has yet to use his ultimate this game.
Yep.
2-for-1 advantage Aurora. Sumail and Ghost on the high ground.
I just realized GH is level 5.
Yeah, that's true. 15 minutes in. Panto, he's going to take the brunt of the damage here. That's going to be a quick kill for NGX, but the zip in from Kiyotaka onto Sumail, but the shackle onto 2. That is a dead Storm Spirit. Kiyotaka taken out as Yamich. They're going to try to go onto Toronto Tokyo. He's got that Blade Mail and Vanguard, so very tanky indeed. Looks like they might be able to finish him off. And on the other side, Sumail versus Nightfall, they're both going to exit. And that power shot finishes off Toronto Tokyo. And now the Rasta in peril, but Mira on the cover of the tier 2 will survive. Yamich has to go to the west here. He's going to find a shackle.
Life is peaceful there.
And this will be a cleanup for Aurora, but they lost a lot here. Noob's going to force a TP out. Kiyotaka will show himself. He still wants to get that Doom off, but yeah, that's difficult. I mean, maybe that's why he got Boots of Travel. He can just walk away, Cinder, from Doom.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to zip in, but they get the Atos into the split earth, and there's the Doom. The Boots of Travel not fast enough.
That's why Boots of Travel, because when he respawns now, he can get out to the wave faster.
Yeah, probably.
I guess he just didn't realize Sumail has Atos when he made that move. It looked like he was jumping in, and he was going to Vortex, and then he was going to jump again. Just got Atos in between. Smart.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't think he's referring to his Boots of Travel. All right. Now this will open up Tormy for NGX.
Yeah, Morph is good at this.
Who will get a
everything
shard?
else in Dota.
Will you get Gale Force?
Oh, no.
That is unfortunate. The 50-50 is lost.
Sometimes lucky, sometimes unlucky.
It happens to the best of us. Okay, Kiyotaka is going Lincolns as well now, so my theory's out the windows.
Yeah.
He'll be able to walk away and block Doom.
This is starting to look more and more like a Merlini item build. He should have just bought the Midas after Travels. And
he still has time.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower
Peculiar. Let's call it that. I mean, the Lincolns, it makes sense against Doom and against the Shackle Shot.
And Atos.
And the Atos, yeah, it's going to buy you time. I think it's honestly a fine purchase. I'm really not a Storm expert whatsoever in terms of like mana conservation and damage. Whether Lincoln's feels terrible to buy, but
yeah, Ghost at a tier 1 is going to get initiated on. The Fiend's Grip is there. Do they have the follow-up damage? It's going to be close. Yes. Hex in time. No attribute shift. Down goes the Morph. Down goes the tier 1.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
I feel like Kiyotaka has been tipping Noob 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah, there's some bad blood here.
There's something going on here.
I mean, I feel like you can close your eyes and doesn't matter who's playing. Just assume there's bad blood between someone.
And maybe Kiyotaka doesn't like noobs. Probably it.
I mean, that's the Dota elitist mentality anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Everybody should be tipping noob off cooldown.
Looks like he's going for the Crimson. As Drums Midas. What do you think of the Doom facet these days? We talked about it early on. I think it's been a lot less exciting than I was expecting.
I think Devil's Bargain is still generally the best one.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying.
There's not too much creativity. I think the player that uses this the best is probably 33, who will sometimes shuffle out 2 or 3 or even 4 items later in the game. He just does the math and is like, okay, now I kind of need this because of the new problem the enemy proposes. So I think it's a really theoretically interesting one, but in most games you end up using it maybe one time, and that's generally sell Midas, buy other item.
Or sell stats,
kind of
early stats related stuff.
Yeah, like bracers. Then it's not too interesting. The really interesting thing is, oh, I have these items. Oh, now they bought this thing that counters me. Now I'm just going to rebuild myself.
Into the Shackle, focus fire as well. Good Hex though from Mira, provides a little bit of space, and Kiyotaka gets away.
So does Mira if he TPs now. That Atos is not going to see him. So nice disengage.
Much more even game at the 20-minute mark. I think it was about 15K deficit.
It was about over.
Yeah.
Last time around. Nightfall going to take the Amplify Damage Rune and go to jungle with it. Very nice. Always a good time. Farming faster. Yeah, it's a quieter game. I think this just strategically, when you look at the lineups, it just makes sense that this game is being played in such a different fashion. I think ultimately when this goes down the stretch, I do like Aurora's chances because of how they can itemize themselves out of some of their problems. Whereas for Nigma Galaxy, I'm not seeing the red thread in killing Dusa yet. The Wind Ranger's going full utility. She went Atos into what looks to be Blink Shard. Are they going to commit on this? No, they're getting.
No, they're forcing TPs out, and they do so successfully. Drums pop.
Mission.
Mira might be in some trouble. Yeah, Atos from Yamich. They will get something out of it. Serpent Ward's placed, though. A bit annoying to traverse around, but
he's actually
this power shot.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The Blink Dagger ends up working out. And
actually got out.
Well, it costs him an ultimate, but not too shabby.
That's crazy.
And Butterfly now there for Nightfall. He is, yeah, compared to the Boots of Travel on Kiyotaka.
They're going to make a move of their own. I think this is a pretty good move in terms of how unexpected it is. You just disengaged bottom. Your Dusa has just been showing Manta Illusions top. So there's a decent chance that Nigma Galaxy do not anticipate an invasion. But unfortunately for the side of Aurora, Nigma were trying to go for a move of their own to kill Medusa. So both teams are going to miss each other. Unless go... Oh my god, he almost killed himself with that TP. That is really lucky. If he TP'd 1 second earlier, they would have seen the ring, and they would have camped him and killed him.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Game of seconds sometimes. Well, that's going to be an opening
initiation
somewhere
onto
else.
GH. Yamich is here, though. Going to get shackled for the time being, but they want Sumail. Gets slept into the hoof stomp with the Gorgon's Grasp from Nightfall. Pops the Bloodstone for Sumail, healing up a decent amount. This is going to be close. Looks like he will fall to the Stampede, and now another full duration shackle for Mira. This time on to Noob. Pops the Essence Ring, but I'm not sure if they want to focus him because the Morphling is the one nightmared. We'll get out of it, though, into the waveform. They're going to focus down the Doom to start things out. A beautiful shackle onto 2 from Yamich. Only biting a little bit of time. It's just too tanky on this Centaur. Can barely put a dent in them. Mira even lives. 0 casualties for Aurora.
Valiant effort there from Ghost, showing off his Manta Diffusal build against the Medusa, but not quite enough. Nightfall with the Butterfly is able to stay alive. Gets off a 20, I think it was a 20 wand into a snake, so he healed himself up that bit further. And Morph just couldn't get through him. And this is what can get problematic, because if you're itemizing like this on Morph right now and you're not finding kills, you should, over time, fall further and further behind the Deuce since she has more cost-efficient items for farming speed. With the Manta Butter, she will just outpace you a little bit on your Morph. You're also going to need to get that True Strike, right? That's the problem here. Is Morph going to buy MKB? Is he going to buy Bloodthorn? Deuce is one of the better heroes to buy Bloodthorn against because she generally doesn't buy BKB. So if she has burnt her Manta, you can try to take her out.
Well, this is good for NGX.
Nice play call. Clean.
Lincoln's now online for Kiyotaka.
So this was a real choice between him and Lesh, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely used to seeing it on Lesh.
Dire's bottom
Both heroes
tower
very
is
good with
under
that.
attack.
What do you think about Bloodstone? I don't know, man. This item feels like a shell of its former self to me.
Yeah, you no longer get the AoE.
It's like generally only Leshrac that I see this item bought on, but even on him, I don't know how much I like it, to be honest. You're holding it up against... Sumail could have gone for like Shiva's BKB, right? As an alternative build path. Obviously, you can't get both of those items at the cost of a Bloodstone, but you can get either of them. I don't know.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's a bit deceptive.
I think it's good if you're off to a good start,
Yeah.
which I would argue that they're not off to the best. Stone Gaze from Nightfall going to buy
the
some
Manta
time
dodge.
for Panto to come in to get split Earth, and will drop immediately. Is Nightfall now on the run with the Stampede. He'll get out of dodge. See how much they can get out of this Aegis on to Ghost.
Mara
Yeah,
did not
Mara's
complete the
spotted.
TP, and now he's under a ward. So he should just be 100% dead here. Even if he gets a blink off, he still can't disengage fully. He just spotted by Spirit. He is toast. Easy kill for Ghost here.
And now he's going to say there's a ward here, and we can see that that ward is expiring soon. So even if they try to de-ward, not going to be too great for the side of Aurora.
Radiant's top tower.
So I do kill the supports, and I guess you get the top tier one here with Ghost on the Morph as well. You still have the Aegis for 3 minutes. So yesterday, Nigma were in a position with a Morphling, I believe it was, that game where they were up a lot against Liquid. And they ended up losing it in the very end against the Drow. This is obviously not comparable at all in terms of net worth, but you are approaching the time of the game that Ghost Morphling tends to really pop off in some fights, and then sometimes Nigma will hesitate to try to end the game and go high ground. I think this game is really difficult to end, actually, for their side. Sieging high ground into supports like Bane Shaman, and then 2 jumping cores in Storm and Centaur. The thing that makes that so tricky is having good formation in your lineup. There's no obvious way of placing your heroes because you can get flanked, you can get jumped from all angles by Storm Centaur, the supports have long reach. It's definitely going to be a challenge for Nigma, and I don't anticipate, especially based on their hesitancy yesterday to go high ground in this game, or at least looking at the next Aegis before they even think about it. And that, in turn, should buy plenty of time for Kiyotaka to get further. Is he... Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Lincoln's pops, and he is out of there.
All right, what do you think Kiyotaka has in his quick buy?
All right, I can
You
see
saw
it
it
on the screen.
You saw it? That's
Yeah.
unfortunate. I was hoping you didn't see
Well,
it.
I wouldn't have guessed nullifiers. You're safe there.
What?
I mean, that gets rid of win run,
Yeah.
and is that it?
Is there any... I mean, they have a
obviously
Force Staff on ET.
the items go without. In terms of abilities, I think that's it.
This is such a different build.
Maybe
I
he's,
love seeing stuff like this. I love the creativity. The thing that's just a shame is when we don't get to hear the rationale. I think it's really cool when pro players talk about specific builds they did for a game. Because this is absolutely unusual, to say the least. I just wonder what the thought process is if he does end up committing for this. Yeah, it's good against Windranger, like you said, but is that really enough to justify going Nullifier 3rd on Storm
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
No.
after your
Radiant's
travels,
top
Lincolns?
Well, it gets rid of Crimson,
Dire's
right?
top tower
Yeah.
is under attack.
And obviously, you said the Force Staff.
There's always going to be something Nullifier's good against, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's typically always a Force Staff or a Yule's or something.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Kiyotaka.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I feel like Noob has not gotten off a nice initiation with the Doom yet.
how many Dooms have been cast?
I think 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Under attack.
Kiyotaka forcing out some abilities here. Yamich has to be careful. He's just dead. Assassinated. As Ghost, okay, that was a bait. And there's the Doom, and there's the death. Stampede a little bit too late. Wouldn't matter because of the stun lock anyway.
And ironically, I don't think that Doom mattered. I think he was dead anyway.
Yeah.
I think he was out of mana, basically being burned out from the Morphling Diffusal Blade, and then the Infernal Blade stun was...
Yeah, take a picture of this inventory and post it on Reddit. As Panto is going to be
guess
found
the
in the
hero.
trees. Sumail going to miss the split Earth, but the Pulse Nova doing its work.
Okay.
Nice kill for NGX. The follow-up on the kill onto Kiyotaka.
The Leshrac Shard this game is really good against Medusa. It's a very static hero. Doesn't move too much in fights. Likes to just stand and deliver.
Yeah, but now
And
Ghost
with the
has a
split
butterfly.
shard. Yeah. I mean, they're definitely getting there. By no means is this remotely close to the last
Chrono
game.
Blade onto Toronto Tokyo. Will pop his Blade Mail. 3 versus 1 right now. TP's coming in as Ghost is destroying himself at the moment. Wants to finish off Toronto Tokyo. It's going to be close. The adaptive strike is not enough.
Oh.
Now he has to waveform to the low ground where the rest of his team awaits.
That was a fraction of a second away from him getting hexed by Shaman. Very, very close escape. Should count himself lucky there. That was definitely not planned out to a T, but managed to escape. Kiyotaka, long zip.
Yep, Mira's there as well to follow up, but GH Force Staff, Noob survives, and now that's a wasted Serpent. Wards as Sumail goes in really deep. They're going to get the Rasta at the very least. And the drums are there for extra movement speed as well, but I don't think they're going to find anything off the back end now. Still a couple minutes away from the earliest spawn that Roche could appear.
Sharon, I have a challenge for you.
Uh-oh.
Name a hero that Kiyotaka's build would be good on.
Boots. So basically,
I'm not, okay, to clarify, I'm not saying it's terrible on Storm this game. I'm just saying what would be a hero. You see this build and you're like, huh, I could see myself buying that on
that's
this
why I
build.
said you posted on Reddit.
It's like literally, I can't think of a hero that would buy these items normally
Radiant's middle
as
tower
in combination. Like,
I mean,
who
the
would
thing
this
is,
be
the
good on?
Boots of Travel, like in a pro game, is unusual, but in like a pub, any hero could buy Boots of Travel.
Yeah.
It's mainly Nullifier with Lincoln's Kaya. That's very random.
It genuinely looks, I'm not even kidding, now it looks like a Divine Courage build. For anyone unaware, it was a, hang on, he's dead.
Yep, Boots of Travel not going to help out this time.
He's running fast, Shannon. Don't count him out.
And he did use the Nullifier. Unfortunately for him, it will spell his doom. No pun intended.
Put and pup. Did you ever play Divine Courage?
Back in the day.
So the way I remember it was you would roll a random hero and then you would roll a random item build and you had to build it in order. And then there were a couple of extra items you were always allowed to buy, like bottle, stick, boots, I think.
That sounds about right.
Everything else you had to do in some order, and this build just looks like something out of that. Oh man, it's funny.
Yep, I would say it's working, but not really yet. Still puzzling.
That's the other thing, is like, if he was popping off and just crushing, we'd be like, hell yeah, you know, I love this creativity. But when it fails, it's just, you're always going to have this second guessing it. Like, what if you just bought standard stuff? Like,
well, when it fails, it saves the pubs around the world.
right.
Radiant's middle tower
Except for the sickos that look at it and like, I'm trying that, even though it did not look good. There's people like that.
That's true.
Radiant's
And
middle tower
if this goes
is
south for Aurora, they can just all look at Kiyotaka together and just point at him. And then this is probably good for morale because Toronto, Tokyo, and Nightfall will be on the same team in that debate. Can find a common enemy.
That's true. For one
Stampede, offensively.
initiation, they're going to take out the Windrunner to start. There's the Nullifier being put to good use from Kiyotaka.
Oh, he's chasing for
Nice split Earth. Beautifully done. They had the follow-up stuns as well, and another death for Kiyotaka. Boots of Travel wasn't enough for... I'm going to have to... I can't help myself every time he dies.
That was a 6 stun, though.
Yeah,
Just
that
flat
was
out
really
full prediction. Samael was anticipating that Kiyotaka was going to zip another time. If anybody knows aggressive Storm play, it would be Samael himself. He's been in that position plenty of time.
No, I don't think
Read him
he's
like a
bought
book.
Nullifier Boots of Travel.
That's true. I have not seen Samael with this build.
And you know he's judging right now.
I'm trying to think if I have ever seen 3 of these 4 items in the same inventory on a hero in any game, including pubs. Lincoln's, Nullifier, Travel,
I'm
Kaya.
sure if you go into the pub archives, it exists somewhere.
Of course.
But it's going to be quite a different rank.
Yeah. All right,
Serpent Wars placed, and that's
Easy
going to be
goal.
easy money.
Easy
GX.
money.
And
Oh, Samael's on the hunt here. He's got a haste rune.
very fast.
Easy
Atos
kill.
to open things up. Gale Force as well. Mira is super. That a nice
How did that
shackle.
latch on do
It
so? What?
Completely ignores every tree and goes for the Snake Lady instead. But you see the Fiend's Grip onto Sumail. Noob on his way to try to clean up the Bane. They'll do so successfully, and Sumail will walk away. So 2 dead for Aurora, and there's the Doom, but See the Stampede getting a little bit of space, but the Ato's going to hold him in place with a split Earth to follow. Kiyotaka using that Nullifier to take out the Windrunner, but the Toronto Tokyo's already super low. Double kill for Sumail. They're going to get the Medusa on top of all that. That's 80 seconds of no Nightfall. Kiyotaka, your boots of travel are enough to get away just this once. 4 dead.
Shout out to Boots of Travel.
And now NGX in the base of Aurora. And Morphling can push really fast. Has to be a bit careful, though, with the HP department. At the moment, they're playing a little bit safe. Kiyotaka can keep going for the zips. Of course, they're not as fearsome because he has a Nullifier Boots of Travel.
In spite of being arguably one of the best carries in Dota against Doom, Medusa, once you are doomed, if people can just stick on top of you for a few seconds, you are going to die. Like, Ghost hits way too hard, and the Lesh matchup, PSG was talking about it, it's not a good matchup into the Medusa, but in any sort of situation where your team is ahead in the fight, I can't imagine it being that bad. You are one of the highest DPS heroes in the game.
Kiyotaka. No, not low enough.
Nice
he tried. Did not use Nullifier during that zip.
Yeah.
They're just keeping track here.
Yeah. Also didn't use Boots of Travel during that zip.
That's true.
You can't do that anymore.
Wait, you can't?
You can't.
Really?
You can't travel during zip, right?
Why not?
Can you?
Wait, you can TP during zip.
Oh, you're right. It's the Earth Spirit roll you can't do during the roll.
I was going to say, there's no difference between a regular TP and a Boots of Travel.
That's true, so he could have done it. I got it mixed up. He's got Kaya Sanj!
Okay.
Well, he had the Kaya before. Both items are normal.
Well, now it's a purple, bluish build, ignoring the Boots of Travel, of course. Maybe the color scheme is important to keep in mind here.
Big lead for Nigma, though.
Yeah.
14K. Ghost has a 4-minute Aegis and a banner. Okay, now we can actually reference that game for real, though, the Liquid game, where Nigma Galaxy were hesitant to go high ground. Have they learned from that game?
Gonna have to hold that thought. Sumail is the one taking most of the initiation damage. It's Toronto Tokyo as well, but the focus fire is enough to take out Panther to start things out. Sumail staying alive, but not long enough.
He's doomed on Storm.
Doom on
He's
Storm,
dead.
has the Boots of Travel to try to get away. Not going to use the TP, though.
Can't help
And
yourself.
Nightfall trying to right-click
he's out
this
of mana
Morphling
now.
inside of the Serpent Ward, but this
That's
is
a
an
good stomp.
Aegis carrier. And they might use life number 1, but this is going to cost Aurora heavily. A nice, beautiful shackle onto 2. GH with the Echo Stomp to follow, which is extremely good against Medusas. Ghost will clean them up very easily, and they're just going to town in Aurora's base. That's a buyback onto the roster. They have 1 on the Centaur as well, but your buildings shall fall.
I mean, it's actually game over if they go for Throne.
Yeah, they're going to try it. The Hex is there for Mira. And again, they do have the Centaur buyback, so they could go for this 3 versus 4 since Sumail did drop, but the tier 4s are falling so fast. Noob goes in with the Blink Dagger, but Toronto Tokyo is there to try to save the day. Unfortunately for them, they have lost Mira. Now the Echo Stomp to slow things out as the buildings continuing to fall. Ancient exposed for Ghost. He's just objective-based gaming. And Toronto Tokyo, 1 more sleep for the road. And I think I can confidently say Boots of Travel, Nullifier Storm, 0% win rate in Pro Dota.
Yeah, the worst thing about this, now we don't